Well, well, well. Why don't you roll your window down? I want you to see this.
When the fella is delinquent with cash in hand, even if it's just a couple of grams.
But he do what I do.
Hello and welcome to Sidewalks, your entertainment TV series. I'm Raphael Siegel, East Coast correspondent, coming to you from New York City once again. And I'm joined right now by hip-hop superstar Rosco P. Coldchain.
Hello.
Coldchain. We get that right.
Yeah.
Welcome to Sidewalks.
What's happening?
Now, I'm sure you get this a lot. Your name is very unique. How'd you get it?
Rosco is a slang term for gun. It was already given to me on the streets, so everybody already gave me that name. P is, technically, it's my last name, which is Porter. You know, it's an abbreviation of it. And Coldchain is not me basically having one, but me taking somebody's.
See.
So I just metaphored it all, you know, made it sound good.
Was that your first choice? Or did you have, when you know, going into the game, you have to have a certain name.
Oh.
Were you thinking of maybe going into another name, or?
Actually, I had a name. I had a name. It was called, they called me Brasco for a minute. I tried to call myself Brasco back in like 96, something like that. But then the whole topic behind dude was he was a snitch. So I
Donnie Brasco.
Yeah, he's a snitch. I can't be no snitch. I don't want to be labeled as a snitch. So a guy by the name of Ab Lava from Major Figures, you know, he started calling me Rosco, and then just let off from there.
Now, speaking of the streets, you were born and raised in North Philadelphia. For the people that don't know, North Philly is a notoriously rough part of Philadelphia. How were you able to not only survive, but thrive in that environment?
Honestly, man, God, because for real, right now, I'm living on borrowed time, so I really don't. I'm kind of surprised I'm even walking this, you know what I'm saying, walking this line, you know what I'm saying, so honestly, I think it's the Lord, man. There ain't nothing else that really could have did that.
Does it surprise people how spiritual you are, how religious you are?
Nah, I wouldn't think so, you know what I'm saying, like, I wouldn't say I'm too religious either.
Right.
But, you know, because I ain't a saint, but necessarily, I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so.
Now, your debut album is entitled Hazardous Life. What can we expect to hear, and how does it differ from other hip-hop albums that are in stores right now?
I think it's more so conceptual, more realistic, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's more to life than, it's more to life than gangbanging and killing, so. You know, I'm just giving every aspect from the gangbanging, you know, selling your drugs, to whatever. But I'm taking it everywhere. So it's not going to be limited to just one side of the scope.
Now, there are 2 love songs on this album. Is it important to mix or balance out the grittier tracks with the softer ones?
Negative and positive, got to equal it out.
That's basically the yin and yang, what life is about.
Yep.
Take us through a little bit of the recording of Hazardous Life, because I think a lot of us think that artists breeze into the studio, they lay down some vocals, and then they're off to a party, they're off to hang out in their mansion. But the recording of this album was a little bit more difficult for you. Explain why.
Honestly, I was going through a lot of trials and tribulations at the time anyway. Like going through the album necessarily. I had got shot, you know what I'm saying? I was going through things, scenarios as far as, you know, just home life and my living arrangements, how I was going to live, where I was going to live at. You know what I'm saying? At the time I still had children, so, you know, I'm still trying to do what I got to do for them. And, you know, just it was just more so life's trials that was being brought upon me. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I think it more so helped me than hurt me as far as, you know, having the sessions and doing the things I was doing with Pharrell, because I was just taking all of that and utilizing it and putting it in word form. So, like, if anything, it wasn't necessarily hard to record. You know what I'm saying? It was just, you know, those were the things I was going through, and I had to put that on paper.
The way you got your record deal was straight out of a movie, as far as I see.
Yeah.
Tell me if I get this right. You're at a video shoot. You meet a big shot. You start talking. The big shot, which I want to find out later who that is,
Right.
invites you to a party, I guess, gathering.
Shot.
People are rapping. You rap for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then he comes up to you and says, don't let anyone else sign you. Is that basically how it went down?
Yeah. I kind of like intervened on this conversation. He was talking to Rod Walker, who was the CEO of Star Trek. Make a long story short, he was talking to him, and I like intervened on this conversation and said, you know, it's some hot cats in Philly. So he was like, well, look, let me call you right back. Walked over to me, he said, who's the hottest cat in Philly who you think of? I said, well, you need to go holler at Rosco P. Coldchain. He said, like, who's Rosco P. Coldchain? And I said, me. And then it went on from there.
How long before that, how much time before that were you trying to secure a record deal before that meeting?
Never.
You just...
Yeah.
It was just off the top of your head?
Absolutely.
I'll see what happens?
Yep.
Wow.